Good evening, good afternoon, whoever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening scene takes place in the Goblin Market, located in North County Dublin. There's a sound of crack, 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 and hammer, 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 and tongs as things are being made all around. It's your average day in the market. People have come here to exchange their dross for goods and services. It's one of those days. Not necessarily unpleasant, but simply a work-a-day time. Baron Voidfrost is sitting next to his balefire in a high-backed black chair. He has spread out on the table in front of him a number of architectural plans that he keeps fiddling with. He has a sextant in one hand as he draws straight lines and curves, seeming to be happy with his work. He has did a number of complicated mathematical formulas. They're sitting next to him. These are weight distributions and other things that architects would become eminently familiar with. He still has his hand wrapped, for the record, since the other night. It's probably wrapped in white silken cloth or something like that that's been tied. But yes, and we will begin our scene. Where is the willow?
I don't know where the willow is. She is walking towards him because why the fuck not? A backpack kind of loosely swung over one shoulder. And yeah, she'll just approach him and will curtsy.
He kind of summons you up with one hand, not the wounded hand, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah, she will walk up.
He puts you. He doesn't quite hoist you. He's actually quite strong, but he wraps his hand around his waist and he sits you on the leg of his on the arm of his chair, and he holds up what he's sketching and he says, "What do you think? I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this as an entranceway." It's basically just a picture of a very nice gate or a door.
Okay. She'll study it and she'll take her time and will finally look up and says, "Are you sure that the weight will be supported by like those pillars? Because they look really delicate, my lord."
It naturally depends what they're built with. However, perhaps you're correct. I should add something with more tensile strength. Thank you for your observation.
Apparently triangles are really strong forms, my lord.
That is something I did not know. For the record, I should point out, he is sitting there wearing his armor, but he's not wearing the really fucked up looking helmet. But that is sitting... Actually, no, the helmet just isn't around him, because I forgot. This armor is actually technically a tattoo, so technically he just has to will the helmet into creation, and it will kind of solidify. But he will nod and he will say, "Have you been doing well?"
Yes, my lord.
Good.
Yourself?
I'm alive. My hand hurts. Other than that, it's fine.
They do say that being alive is a good thing, generally.
Give me a second, I'm looking up a thing. What is happening? Oh, okay.
As Kim apparently drops half the books in creation on herself.
Oh no.
While this is happening, basically there would weaving through the crowd a little bit. You could tell that he's kind of out of place, but you could tell with that American swagger that there's a troll, basically just with sunglasses, smoking a cigar, just looking around, posted up against the wall, just observing behind the sunglasses, just watching. Particularly Boyd Frost and his commoner woman.
His commoner woman. I love that phrasing. Thank you for that one. Standing behind Void Frost, for the record, about 4 or 5 steps respectfully behind it, there is another troll who's wearing the livery of House Varich. So he has the sun over his heart or whatever else have you. The Baron picks up a glass and he takes a sip from the wine that's in the cup or in the glass before he sets it back down. Is there something I can do for you, sir? He will say, as he looks towards the troll who appears to be giving him eyes under the sunglasses.
Nah. I'm just just a good old new in town and whatnot. Just got here about 2 weeks ago. Just observing the different, nice little freehold and this little nice barony you all got here. Soaking in all the gossip and whatnot that all the people have been saying for some reason. I swear, you get a boggin in front of you, pay for him a couple of drinks, and he starts spilling his guts out to you. It's a crazy thing.
And what is it that the boggin might have said that might have alluded you to take an afternoon stroll here, stranger?
Well, you got something to drink, I'm kind of parched here.
At this point, Red Cap will reply, hear that he is parched, and hand him a bottle of water.
I mean, I'm parched in the, center department, if you know what I mean. A little bit of that devil's beverage, if you know. Alcohol. I need alcohol.
Have they stopped teaching manners? Oh, sorry, you continue, Kim.
She just... I understood the reference. I do not judge people for their excessive habits. And she looks to Void Frost. My lord, your hand is still injured. Would you like me to repair that for you?
Please.
Sorry, continue.
I was gonna say he'll unwind the linen around, or the silk around his hand, exposing quite a nasty cut that takes up most of the palm of his hand.
Ooh, that's a nasty cut you got there, sir.
She will take the bottle of water. As water falls under the first out of the nature round. And I get a minus difficulty because that is my affinity round.
You're also in a freehold. Yeah, well, you're in a freehold, which gives you a -1.
Yeah, I'm in the right check. Okay, so starts at difficulty 8, correct?
Sorry, correct. Difficulty 8. You're in a freehold, and it's your affinity, so it goes down to difficulty 6.
And from 6. And this is chimerical injury or real injury?
Real injury.
Okay, so I'll have to spend a glamour to mark that on the sheet. And you have a bottle of water that heals, that has low life for 1 scene, and she'll pour it over your hand. And since you are in contact, it heals within 3 seconds.
So you'll see that wonderful thing of as the water washes over it, it almost looks like it washes away the cut.
Yes.
He will then flex his hand. Thank you, Miss Violet.
As I said, my lord, I am at your service.
So, you come to us from Concordia. I can hear by the way you speak, troll.
Indeed, Baron.
That is the first time you've used my correct title since we've been speaking.
Forgive me, been on the clock for too long.
As for a drink, Javushke, the troll will not, and he will walk over to a small basket. He will procure another glass, and he will set it on the table, and he will fill it with the same wine that Voidfrost is drinking. Please, enjoy my hospitality.
Of course, good sir.
He looks up at Willow. Do you want a drink?
No, thank you, my lord. I'm good. Sorry?
He asked, do you want a drink?
Oh, no. Sorry, my lord. I'm good. I don't drink alcohol.
That we will change, but not today. But it will change. Na zdrowie, he will say as he lifts the glass to the troll as he approaches.
He'll lift it
Your
up.
health and happiness.
He'll lift it up too, and he'll wait for him to take a sip. Then he'll take a sip.
So, my apologies, Miss Violet. Do you want a drink?
Maybe after I finish shopping. Thank you.
As you say. So, what were we saying? Yes. Why is it that you are here, sir? You look as if you're here on purpose.
Well, as I was saying, the Boggin was talking to me about something's going down between Baron, a lord, and commoner folk.
Define something, if you would be so kind.
Marriage.
He kind of looks up to gauge Willow's reaction, like, huh?
Oh, she's already starting to get red a little.
But this is the case.
Call me curious, Baron, but I'm a curious person. I was just wondering what set this apart. Was it the traditional, romance, the gaze of this is uncommon for that of the House of Varage to do such lovey-dovey things. It may be different, from over here, from our House Varage overseas, but I'm curious. I'm not judging whatsoever. I just want to know. I just had to see for myself.
Alexis, for the record, he loops his hand into Willow's, and he brings her hand up and he kisses the back of it as he's sitting there.
And Willow's gone back to tomato.
And he will say, ultimately, it's good to show solidarity between the nobility and the common folk. So, in this way, I raise Mistress Willow here to us. She brings her realizations and understanding. Everything is victorious.
I guess it's the first for everything. So that's the lucky. So she is the lucky lady, Miss Willows, or as I will be calling her, Baroness Willow alongside you.
Hmm. What is your name?
Oh, the name's hmm. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Always gotta think about these things. Always on the clock. The name's Drygar. Drygar.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm just a simple guy. Out here, just trying to, make a little bit of difference. Silly code and whatnot.
Hmm. I know it, but one could not say I approve of it.
Uh, Let me guess. He starts snapping his fingers. You're unsilly.
I am House Larch.
Ah, yeah. That's very interesting. Interesting. I've been meeting a lot of unseelie around here. Some of them not bad folks. Some of them pretty cool, pretty chill.
If you say so.
Mm. So, Lord Voidfrost, tell me a little bit about this freehold. I want to know. I'm curious.
This freehold, this particular one, I won from a member of House Liam in a card game.
No shit.
No shit.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
If your parents never taught you this lesson, allow me to teach it to you. Never play a member of House Warwick in a game of chance and expect to win.
Hmm. I'll keep that in mind. This is a nice setup you got here. You living your best life, Baron, sir.
I have been fortunate.
He'll look around. He's just observing, just looking. He'll look towards Willow. Miss Willow, you don't really talk that much. What do you got to say about all this wonderful land out here that will be, that you will rule alongside with your future husband here.
Willow looks at this troll like this is the first time she's starting to realize that, and she's just looking panicked for a moment, and then tries to pose herself. Uh, well, sir, I think I still have a lot to learn before I would be able to assist my lord in this manner.
I mean, Yuki did just kind of win 0 to a Baroness real fast, though. So I mean, it's interesting. I am very interested in all this. I'm glad that I moved here with my fiance, of course.
You have a fiance, sir?
Oh yeah, I do. You know what, Baron Voidfrost? Maybe when y'all maybe when y'all tired now we can go to lunch together or something.
It sounds interesting, but it would depend on my lord's schedule, of course. He is very busy.
So, quick question to Evan.
Mm.
So, is Voidfrost like a known Russian mobster?
Oh,
Like
fuck.
in the real?
I have
Okay,
people. I have influence, underworld influence 5. I am a known Russian mobster.
okay, you would know that he's a detective. So,
Mhm.
so he's going to look, and he's just gonna, may can I have a seat? May I have a seat?
If you wish.
He'll sit down. So Well, let's be honest. From a Sealy to an unsealy, I know who you are. You know who I am.
You see the eyebrow raise like very, very minutely.
I would like to point out that Willow is going to look very confused.
Would you like to P&E either of us?
As the room just dropped from like.
I will. Let's see. I need to go hunt for glamour. I have dreamers.
Is somebody rolling?
Yeah, let me roll my great manipulation subterfuge to hide how I'm feeling.
Oh, no. I was wondering if you wanted to roll perk empathy to see how we're feeling, because you're the one who's confused as fuck.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll roll perception empathy. That's better than my subterfuge. Like, fuck.
Oh no, I failed.
You have no idea what either of us are feeling. We're both perfectly fine. How are you?
My Discord is not complying with me. Oh, great. Fine.
I forgot to apply the code that takes away on
Wow. That is 5 successes.
Huh. All right. I'll give her mine, and you can give her yours, Diamond.
Okay, you first.
Voidfrost is horribly amused. He's trying to hide it. It's an almost sadistic amusement.
At this point, the down. Was you done? My bad.
Yeah, I'm done. That's his primary emotion. Like she can tell from the slight upturning of his lips and the slight kind of glint in his eye that he's hot. He's laughing on the inside.
At this point, the troll just went from like that laid back to that serious, like that honor bound troll that you see from every troll's face. Like, look, we gonna have to talk. So basically, he'll sit down, have his drink. So I know who you are. You know who I am. Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
So basically, he's just going to look at him like, so you know who I am, and I know. So I know who you are, and you know who I am. So I just want to clear some things up with you before anything happens to go down. I just got transferred over to the Dublin police department over here. This was a long transfer. My girlfriend got family over here, and we decided to move back. We decided to move over here. So I know who you are in the real, and you probably know who I am. I know what you do for a living, and you know what I do for a living.
More confusion.
Hello, would you like to take a walk with me while these two gentlemen?
He is going to use that phrase that has been used by mobsters since time began, as he looks him straight in the eyes and just says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a legitimate businessman."
And at that point, you just go see this look on his face, like, really now? Like, all I'm saying is that your operation is none of my concern. I have no problems with you. You should, and you won't have no problems with me. At this point in your career of your legitimate business. He's gonna do that with air quotation. You are to the point of basically being damn well near untouchable. There'll be a foolish cop. There'll be a foolish detective or cop on the beat to try to think they're gonna go against you.
What's Willow's reaction to this? Because she doesn't know about this whole other thing he does.
Nope. Well, I mean, I did hear Kim this basically like Violet asking Willow if she wanted to take a walk. So she would have looked first at Void for us to see if, like, he wanted her to stay or not.
He'll give a nod, as in, yeah, you can go. He appears to be very focused on this conversation.
Then she would probably have left off.
Okay.
So, yeah. Just because it's hilarious to have her not know.
And Violet is going to discuss wedding decoration options.
Oh, God.
And the troll is just gonna take a sip from his drink. Look,
my friend, I am a simple, legitimate businessman. If you would like to talk to me about real estate, acquiring of certain fees and licenses, or anything of that nature, you may feel free to do so. However, I am a legitimate businessman.
Oh no. We're not gonna move into the business of getting the business with each other. That's something we're not going to do. I'm just saying that I respect your privacy as a legitimate business owner, and you respect my privacy as a detective. As I said before, it will be a stupid detective or cop to think they can go against you and think they're not going to wind up eating their own liver.
The troll behind him will nod. He will walk inside. He'll come back about 3 or 4 minutes later, and he's going to place one of those sports duffel bags down on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And Void Frost just moves it across the table with a palm of his hand.
And he's just gonna look at this, look inside.
Do you look in the duffel bag?
Yeah, he looks in.
There's like 20 grand in there in small bills.
And he looks, and he closes it back up. He's just like, he clutches his fist like, I wasn't a good person. Look, all I'm saying is, you're Faye, I'm Faye. I'm not going to do anything to harm you whatsoever.
So what you're saying is this has not been a backhanded attempt for a bribe?
I mean, the money is nice, but I'm just not going to take it because I'm not going to take it. Nice gesture, though.
The bag is removed as I think you look at it piningly as it is brought back inside.
He's just going to light his cigar, just shake his head like.
That was a lot of bread. That was a lot of bread, Diamond.
He's just shaking his head. He's just. All I'm saying is, Void Frost, you have nothing to worry about when I'm doing my job in the real. My concern is if you have any other boys that's out there doing some reckless stuff. You understand what I'm saying, Baron, sir?
I understand. This is something that can be done. Ultimately, we are both bound by the Ashit before anything else. No changeling would have another changeling incarcerated, as that would breach the right to rescue. That would require the right to rescue.
Of course.
But we understand one another. And now we will do that little to flick across to Willow and Violet as they walk through the market.
So Violet holds up this pretty sea-colored flower. What do you think, Willow?
It's beautiful, but so are a lot of the other flowers. I wouldn't even know what to pick, really.
I've planned a wedding before. I've been married once before.
Oh. Yeah? So,
It's been a while. I miss him.
what
He
happened?
passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Called me Violet because of my eyes. And you will see her eyes are in fact violet.
Did you love him very much?
I did.
And
Of course, it wasn't an officially binding marriage.
is that very heavily required then?
I mean, most dreaming marriages aren't officially binding marriages with the marriage certificate and whatnot.
I see. I guess it's something to inquire about later.
I may have paid a year's worth of wages for a dreaming wedding planner, and she'll hand over the phone card, or yes, a wedding gift. You tell her what you want, don't have to worry about anything else.
Oh, I could not accept that. No, please. That's just too much.
Well, I've already paid her.
Oh. So, what do you think I should? What would your advice be?
Do what you want. Have fun.
I'm not really sure what to do. Like, I've never. I mean, obviously, I've never been married. I never really planned on marrying so soon, so I don't think I'm very well prepared. And if I do what I want, and what if people don't like it? What if the Baron doesn't like it?
The Baron, I believe, I haven't known him for very long, so feel free to correct me, is a man who speaks his mind. So, if he didn't like it, I believe he would tell you. And if other people don't like it, well, they have the Baron to put up with.
I suppose. Um, whew. It's just so much that's happening right now. I don't quite know. I don't quite know what to do, really.
Alrighty, take a moment. Think back to your childhood before you were even a Selkie. And what was your dream wedding?
Mm. I don't know. It was I looked up a lot of photos, including a lot of wedding photos. I did try, didn't really shoot a wedding ever, but I did try to set something up that looked sort of like it. I always had like two things, and one was all like black and white, but the other one was quite colorful. So I really don't know what to choose. I wouldn't know.
Well, when I was 5 years old, this was quite a while, I wanted a dress that was pink and was made out of candy. What did you want?
I always loved lilies, like those white lilies.
Calla lilies.
Hmm. I'm not much of a tiger, but
She will also chuckle. Well, that's a start, isn't it?
I suppose. Like, in all honesty, I don't want to. I don't want an extremely fancy dress or something. It's not for me. Never really been much for me. I even at Christmas, and we had nice clothing on, and I always accidentally yanked off the ribbons and such. So I would really prefer something more simple.
Maybe a silk dress. Not very much lace.
Yeah,
I always liked the way that silk moved. I kind of, I wouldn't be very familiar with it, but it looks like it flows like water.
I know how it looks. I've never really worn it. It's a little too expensive, you know.
I'm sure the Baron will spare no expense.
Yeah, I'm sure as well.
However, if you're feeling nervous, you can ask for a more private ceremony with a more public reception.
Think you'd be okay with that?
I don't know. You would have to ask.
Fair enough.
Shall we return?
Yeah, I thank you for helping out.
I'm always here if you need to talk.
Same. If you need someone.
And then we return. Post conversation.
So, Christian, if you'd like to join us, we're in the changeling market.
Excuse me, I forgot my earbuds canceled my microphone. So, Sir Christian will be walking along in the changeling markets, just taking stock of the place, shopping really. His horse is following him. Yeah, it's just mingling, seeing what's for sale.
As the ladies return to the center of the changeling market, Void Frost will extend his hand and basically have Willow sit next to him again, if she'll accept that.
I mean, have you ever seen her not accepting something?
Valid. One day she's gonna grow a spine.
Oh, ain't that a sweet sight to see?
Ah, interesting. Sir Christian, you're not normally a denizen who frequents my market.
He turns from, let's say, the article of clothing he was inspecting, blinks. Baron Boardfrost, this is your market?
And I won it from a member of House William in the game of cards.
He smirks at you. I confess I am unskilled in games of chance.
As I said to my dear new friend here, a piece of advice, never play a member of House Berich in a game of skill or chance. You'll have a sad time, particularly if there's money or dross on the line.
He chuckles at that. Chance, perhaps not, but I fared quite well with skill alone.
Do you want to join us for a drink, perhaps? You'll notice that there's wine on the table that they're sitting at.
He'll nod. Of course, I will join you.
Good. The Voidfrost troll retainer knight steps forward. He takes out another glass and places it on the table before he pours. Actually, no, he will stop and he will kind of look at Willow confused. He's like, "Am I meant to pour or am you meant to pour? I don't know how to life anymore."
Willow has that longing look of, oh my god, I wish my life was simple like that again.
He kind of shrugs and just hands you the decanter, like, eh?
I mean, she will take it, and she will, like, you know, kind of glance at the Baron, like, yeah?
He shrugs and he holds up his own glass to be refilled.
She will refill.
So, on a side note, I should make a note that I need to acquire more correctly vintaged wine, as I think we're running out.
Also, Willow will stand behind your seat now.
No, she won't. She's caught by the waist and sat down on the chair again.
God damn it. So close.
I know of an excellent winery in France.
But then again, I'm led to understand that you serve rather fine wine, do you not, Miss Violet?
I do. I have a very, what is it called? Refined taste.
Unfortunately, I do not. I think it was all of the vodka I drank as a younger man that may have destroyed my sense of taste.
Christian takes a slow sip of his wine, conservative sip, sets it back down on the table.
It's really good wine as a comparison. Like, it was clearly incredibly expensive.
Closes his eyes at the taste of it, lets it roll over his tongue. My compliments on the vintage.
Thank you. I must admit, I was...
I was just about to say, clearly my character's just a savage because he's just taking like big gulps and like, he's from the America, so he can't appreciate fine stuff like that.
I must admit that I was deeply surprised with the actions of Sir Harold as it pertained his attitude towards you at the funeral of Sir Longtooth. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know, Diamond, we knighted you posthumously.
Yay!
So he was Sir Longtooth. We knighted a dead man, because of course we fucking did.
Yay! I'm in the dreaming.
I mean, if it helps, that means in his next incarnation, I think he is a knight.
Oh Jesus!
But
Change.
I was quite surprised with the vehemency of the insult that Sir Harold paid you, Sir Christian. It was ungentlemanly.
As was I, my lord. I was taken aback by the knight's audacity in his address of me and his dictation of the terms of the contract he would set with me. I will confess it, my lord. There was a moment that I considered striking him down in your very freehold. The one thing that saved his life was that he presented a solution, not an ideal solution, but a solution nonetheless.
If I may speak freely for a moment and to look at this table, all who are higher on the food chain than her. What is stronger trust than a mutual trust? And then his reply to not be able to do so.
Hmm. Do you think that he will be able to make good his promise?
Sir Harold only said that he was close to and working on a solution, not that he had a solution, but nevertheless it was enough to stay my wrath on a knight of the realm.
That and it would involve yet another conflict between the baronial structures as the Baroness Eiluned and the Baroness Fiona would then come to grasps over their knight's misbehavior, and it would have ended sadly for all involved.
Alas, we Fiona sometimes act rashly when we believe we are acting righteously, and I believe that I did. I may yet take up the knight's offer if certain abundant contingencies could be made and assurances.
He nods his head once. By the way, you'll see on the table, Christian, there's a whole bunch of architectural sketches. They're really good. Craft architecture fun.
He wouldn't be able to appreciate them, but I'm guessing they're blueprints, yes?
Blueprints and architectural sketches, yes.
He looks down at the papers on the tables, glances over them. I appear to have what is this that you are doing?
I'm making my preparations for a large project I'm attempting to undertake for the city of Dublin. Have you been to the United States, Sir Christian?
Shakes his head.
I spent quite a lot of time in Brighton Beach.
He has no idea where that is.
Excellent. But the one thing that I did marvel at whilst I was there was quite odd. When I was staying in New York, Grand Central Station was of absolute paramount interest to me. The always comings and goings, the trains that could take you anywhere and nowhere. So that is what I am going to build, the changeling version of it. A station that will take you along many trods to many places and right back to Dublin itself. A very grand undertaking.
Ah, yes, Grand Central Station. I am familiar with this. You wish to create such a thing in the dreaming? That would be a auspicious undertaking.
Hmm. The igniting of balefires is something of a hobby of mine.
And at this point, you would just hear like him coughing on the wine. If that ambitious endeavor do succeed, you'll practically make this whole place Dublin the epitaph center of basically transportation of goods, troops, and all that. The revenue, he'll just start thinking, all right.
Well, this is Ireland. After all, I am from Russia. But even we know that the Tuatha are our parents. They birthed the She. This is from whence they came. Should it not be that this is the central nexus?
That is true.
Christian takes a sip of his wine again, sets it down. Of course, sometimes it is easier to open doorways than it is to close them.
I quite agree. As I said, if this endeavor is to only undertaken, it would be a huge undertaking. I would be sinking significant amount of resources into making it happen. Keeping it safe alone would be astronomically expensive. Because wow, I've forgotten Diamond's character's name. Dyker?
My bad, Draga.
Draga. As Draga here has said, if it was a central point through which things could be moved, many people would want their hands on it.
And perhaps those who would declare themselves enemies of our kingdom could move through it.
At the moment, Dublin and Leinster does not have any enemies that I'm aware of, not since the Baelor Wars.
The Catholic Inquisition was quite a while.
I will note that I fought in the last war that took place in Dublin. Perhaps that is why of my concern.
I do know our new enemy. Anti-vaxxers. They wish to bring the plague upon humanity again.
Don't go to the Americas. They're all populated over there.
Just blinks, doesn't know what an anti-vaxxer is.
Willow will refill the glasses because fuck, why not?
Well, gentlemen, Baron, Sir Knight, I have to get going. I have a late night shift to cover and a lot of paperwork to get done.
Walk forever well, noble troll.
You do the same, and congrats.
Christian will raise his glass at you and farewell.
And basically, Dre Drago will basically kind of take a hat from take a nice little hat from under his little trench coat, put it on, and just tip it towards the ladies. Then he'll leave.
But as I was saying, igniting bale fires is something of a hobby of mine.
An admirable hobby, if I might say. Balefire is too scarce a resource on this earth and this age.
No. As a matter of fact, Willow,
Yes, my lord.
I was going to give you as a wedding present, but I said that I should let you know now. I have come into possession of a freehold that I can no longer maintain myself and continue with my project. I was going to give it to you if you were amenable.
To me? But, what should I do with it?
Keep it safe. Live there. I don't mind. It's a rather pleasant house.
Oh.
And I was thinking, perhaps it's very hard for commoners to gain access to balefires, particularly if nobles shut their doors. You could easily make it so that those individuals there will forever have a place.
Yes, I could. Of
Good.
course.
We shall do something about this, but then again, this is planning for another day. He will kiss the back of her hand again, taking up in his and kissing it on the back of the hand. Are we at tomato again?
Yeah. She's just looking to see if there's any glass that she can refill. Please let there be a glass that she can refill.
Christian just took a huge sip of his glass while he was watching this willy-nilly handing out of freeholds to a commoner.
Right.
To be fair, it is his betrothed, so me.
He just holds out his glass or sets it on the table.
Or
That must make Christian go, shit, how rich is Whitefrost? Oh fuck.
and his glass is full again, and Willow has a reason to look into the carafe and not look up at the others.
But that is what I intend to do. I intend to mortgage freeholds, Sir Christian.
Wipes just a drop of wine from his lips with the back of his hand.
So, let us say you wish a balefire lit and you have a suitable opening in the dreaming, or a suitable area where there could be an opening in the dreaming. I invest the capital in order to produce the freehold, as it requires a large amount of an influx of glamour in order to do so. Then you would, at the pivotal moment, give of yourself to the balefire I had stoked in order to generate life into the balefire even after the glamour had been invested. You following me?
Nodding his head.
Then we would complete the process. The balefire would be lit, ignited, etc. At which point it could cost dozens, hundreds of dross to set the fire. Then we would have an arrangement made for payment. I would either keep ownership of the balefire, and then I would give it to you through the oath of bequeathment, at which point it could in theory be revoked at a given time should I wish to, or it would have a payment amount that once it was satisfied, after interest payments had been made, etc., it would be transferred then entirely to its owner's possession.
Stares at you for a moment, takes another sip of wine, a more conservative sip like before, sets it back down. As it happens, my lord, I do have such a proposition in mind. The only, how the humans say, fly in the ointment is that you are not my liege, and any oath sworn to you would put in question the oath sworn to my own liege.
It would be a simple matter. For the record, your liege has lost a great amount of dross and prestige recently. I should think he could do with some of it back. That was brutal, for the record. Feel free to roleplay. I literally just low-blowed your lord.
It's true, though.
It's not. You're not wrong. There was a lot of betting. There was a lot of silly betting.
He actually just closes his eyes as if you just punched him in the gut. And then his sapphire, the light of his eyes, returns as his eyes open.
There is nothing wrong, per se, from the perspective of the dreaming, and from the perspective of the oath that you have sworn to your liege lord, that you were to take on the custodianship, the sacred act of being the custodian of a balefire. Now, as to who owns the balefire, that is not really an issue, because you are its custodian. So, let us say, in theory, that you wish to enter into this proposition with me. No? We would then move forward. I would invest the necessary dross in order to begin the ignition of the balefire. This is a pretty easy task. I would also have to hollow a hole so that the energies of the dreaming could seep through into our world. This is doable. This I can do. Excuse me. With that in mind, you would at the pivotal moment then have to invest your own personal essence in order to strike the balefire, in order to enkindle it. That, or we could do it the old-fashioned way, which involves getting a taper from a freehold that is already in existence and lighting it in that manner, but then again, that is its own complication. Where was I?
Lighting the balefire.
Ah, there we are. So, allow me to ask a question. What do you wish a home for yourself, a suitable manor? What is it that you wish to build?
What I wish is in line with my expertise. And he gestures back to the chimerical horse over his shoulder, which is a magnificent silver white stallion, almost as beautiful as he is, really. And then he says, my constant companion Argent, who I have raised since he was a foal chimerling to be a fine warhorse. As you have perhaps can attest yourself, as I rode him in battle against you. I know very few things on this earth, I will confess it, but the art of swords, battle, horsemanship, and training are my expertise.
So what you're saying to me is that you would like to build a suitable ranch? Is it the English word?
Ranch or manor house perhaps would be appropriate for my designs.
That could be done. As I said, it would require us finding a suitable location. That is not terrifically difficult, but it is sometimes challenging. But
I have investigated the stables in various all around Dublin, but alas, the intricacies of human interaction to some degree still elude me, I'm afraid.
In that case, what would happen? Actually, stables are a good place. Mostly because so many children dream of horses that it creates a naturally not a very strong barrier between dreaming and grey world, you understand? So, in that case, I acquire stables. I buy them. It's easy. Particularly if individuals are encouraged to sell. He is not going to give any context to that statement. He just leaves it hanging there. It might or might not involve borscht and a shotgun.
He's just looking at you with his big blue, guileless sapphire eyes.
Dylan, you literally know you're making a deal with the devil, right?
My character doesn't know that.
The unseelie devil. So, with that in mind, we would acquire staples. I would then create the wrath needed to begin the terraforming process. Create or use my resources of Dross in order to create the fire. Then, at the pivotal moment, you would give onto it your permanent essence, that essence that makes you in the form of your glamour reserve, shall we say, a piece of your soul, for lack of a better purpose, because that is how the balefire is struck. Then, when it is created for a set period of time, as I said, I would take ownership of it until such time as your debt was repaid. Then it would be transferred in ownership over to you. In perpetuity, of course. And your descendants.
A hand is tracing over the cloth of silver badge and his crimson doublet as he's thoughtfully mulling over the idea of giving permanently of himself. This, I believe, would be agreeable. I can certainly stand in guardianship of such a freehold.
Good. Good. In that case, we have a plan. As for the nuts and the bolts, that will come together in time. What will happen is I will create the freehold. You will give of it your personal essence. I will then make the oath in order to take ownership of the freehold. There is another oath that you will then take in order to take possession of the freehold from me. When it is time that the freehold has been paid off, then you will maintain the freehold perpetually. I will pass the deed and the contract to you. Sorry, 1 second.
He's listening, just nodding his head. He understands the concept of contracts and such. He has law too, so he's listening to you.
So, I create, or I buy in Grey World, I create, I own, you manage, you will pay X amount of resources gained, be it in glamour, dross, etc. I will even be kind enough to build the physical structure that the freehold will then come to represent, from woods, from chimerical stone, wood, etc., to your liking. As you can see, I'm rather good at designing buildings.
That does make him smile, and he's already thinking of far-off ideas of designs and such.
Then we have agreement that you will pay X amount until debt is paid. It will be total amount of dross invested plus interest. We will agree on interest rate. It will probably be somewhere in the region of 35 to 40% over a period of time. Then, when that is paid off, freehold becomes yours. Should you die before this is able to be done, freehold reverts to me, etc.
He just flexes chin. Regretfully, I do not have an abundant resource of dross myself.
Is fine.
What exactly would be required of me to uphold my end of the bargain?
Nothing, just that you pay the debt. I'm a businessman, ultimately. This is a business arrangement. You will just have to keep the Bellfire safe, see that it does not fall into disrepair or disuse. You may raise your horses, that is entirely fine. You will pay me the amounts in repayments over a set period of time, more than likely a year or two. Then we will have agreement. Of course, there will be a proper contract signed and drawn up when it is we know the actual amounts of dross and the amounts of glamour, etc., that will need to be invested.
He nods, takes up his glass, and if there is nothing else, shall we drink to our arrangement?
No. He looks down at Willow because his glass is empty. He's kind of like,
Oh, poor. She would not have made it that
he
empty.
kisses Willow on the cheek just to see if she'll actually explode.
Oh yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm. She'd been looking, or she'd been listening, rather interested, like, just hearing what this was, because she's not that familiar with Freehold, so she hadn't really been thinking about that kind of stuff. And then suddenly there's the kiss, and she's like, "Yep, tomato, exploding
Willow
tomato."
EXE has stopped running. Please reboot your Willow.
Christian places a hand over his heart, smiles, and says, nothing quite as inspirational as true love.
With any luck, you shall be able to see your own loved ones again, Sir Christian. I can only imagine how traumatic it must be to lack your family.
That curdles the smile on his face, but he nods his head, takes a sip of wine. As it happens, there is one saving grace in that my sister is of the blood. I have been in contact with her and explained my situation. However, I obviously cannot take up my place again in our family until this. He runs a hand over his face, his beautiful, beautiful face, but older than it was. Until this is undone. Technically, it is a breach of the Ashit.
Sir Harold was foolish. I do not think that there is anyone here who would defend his actions.
Christian looks around, looks behind his seat, looks at his horse. His horse shakes his head at him. He shrugs at Voidfrost. It would seem not.
Very good. In that case, we have deal. Now, I have other business to attend to this evening. So, if that is all, sir, he will rise and he will extend his hand.
Rises smoothly, straightens his doublet, and shakes Voidfrost's hand in that familiar way of linking elbows almost.
When it is you understand exactly what it is you would like, I will do proper blueprinting, etc., and we will arrange the price of the mortgage, etc. But that can be done in due course.
He nods. As you say, my lord. I will leave it to you and explore my options as to the design and what is most efficient.
Good. Now then, mistress. He looks. He doesn't call her mistress. Now then, Willow. I was led to understand that you and I were going to take a walk this afternoon. Shall we go and see to that?
Oh. Yes, of course, my lord.
Good, good. He will link his arm with hers.
She'll grab her backpack from like next to his seat and swing it over her shoulder, and still kind of looking down at her feet and being red, she'll follow him.
You know, and it looks really funny with the armor because obviously you can see his chimerical reality. But he actually he stops. He takes your backpack and he puts it over his own shoulders.
I can carry that myself, my lord.
I would not be a gentleman if I allowed you to do so, however.
Please be careful with it.
Of course.
Okay.
And on that touching yet incredibly awkward note, we will end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.